What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about 5 different crypto-related stocks today. 4 stocks, 1 ETF, but Marathon, CleanSpark, IREN, WULF, and HODL, HODL is the ETF. We're talking about the first 3 for Cal. We're talking about WULF for unlawful law, and I didn't write the name down, I'm sorry, but somebody requested that I go over the closing levels to invalidate my lower price predictions for some of these stocks, so we'll go over that as well, as in what to look for as a sign that I'm wrong, and there that we can definitely identify that. So, and I think that's good to identify, so let's do it. I'm going to pause the music there. You guys are going to hit the like button and subscribe, and we are going to move on and party, man. So yeah, I mean, to be fair, right, Marathon's got a nice kind of structure to it right here. You know, sometimes it's nice to look at this with fresh eyes. That's why I like to have a new chart every time I look at it. But yeah, it's kind of actually a nice channel. And in which case, you know, you've been holding this line pretty well. Maybe you are at the bottom. What would it take to invalidate the hypothesis, the idea, which I have in mind, that you're going to go lower? What would it take to prove that? Well, from high to low here, first things first, you need to get above your 382, which, hey, you did yesterday. Not today, but yesterday, you got above it. Okay, you're closing above it for a second day in a row. That's really nice to see. So that is step 1 in invalidating my belief that you will go lower than this low. Step 2, and I am starting to believe that I might be invalidated in my belief, actually. Step 2 would be to break above this line here. So get above $24.4. Really, get above that. If you can do what you did with the 382, but with the 618, if you can do that, absolutely, I believe lower prices are invalidated. It is still possible to move up from here, reject, and then go to lower prices. Absolutely, it is. That's a classic kind of maneuver. I didn't realize my camera. You guys might be fine, but for me, it's a little weird. Okay, there we go. What I'm trying to say is, a rejection up here is still totally possible. So yes, we're at $20 now. Yes, we've had quite the reaction off of the low of $14. It's nice to see, but we would still have to break, not wick, not do this stuff, but do this stuff, what we've done the past couple days. We want to do that above 24.40. Okay, we don't even have to break the white line itself. Okay, I would be pretty damn convinced if we can get above 24.40 on this first attempt. That would convince me. Even if we reject from here, that doesn't mean that you're going to go to lower lows. We could reject and find support on the 382 and then move up. You know, that's a very normal thing too. But either way, it's statistically more probable at this point, in my opinion, that you will reject this zone. Whether that merits lower lows or higher lows, I don't know. So the line to watch to invalidate it, I would say it comes in steps. It's like a checklist, of which you've already like checked 1 and 2 off the list, doing good, looking nice on the RSI, on the fib and everything. Step 3, the final step that I would kind of consider would be breaking above $24.40. $24.4. That's the final step. You do that and it's invalidated. Until then, it is very possible that the original moves I've been calling for, which I definitely have less faith in now, especially with that volume, it looks good, man. The move that I'm calling for from high or low to high here would be down at about 1160 to potentially 866, somewhere in that zone, around $10 even, you know, stuff like that. But I'm not gonna lie, man, sometimes fresh eyes, it helps get a better perspective. This actually does look pretty nice. It's not the tightest channel, and you absolutely could afford to go lower, right? Look at that, right? You could go a little bit lower, but maybe you do, you know, reject this area, you go a little bit lower or form a double bottom, but that doesn't mean that you are going to lower lows. I kind of like that. In fact, I would say, just based off of this chart right now, I'd like to throw out my theory, my thought that the price will see lower lows than this low here. If it does, it's going to be barely. I doubt we're going to return back to these levels. Just looking at the trajectory itself, I can be wrong, but this is just my new kind of look at it personally. But to invalidate again that we're even going lower from the current prices, that will even return back to, you know, around this line or around these lows, which I think is on the table. To invalidate that, we would have to get above $24.4 and stay above it, right? If you can do that, the way you're doing with the 382 right now, I would doubt you return to these levels ever again. In fact, you probably just form a higher low somewhere along the line. You don't even need to hit this line. It's there, but you don't need to hit it. while simultaneously it wouldn't be crazy if you did hit it. You know, that'd be a double bottom of sorts. It would look really good. It'd be nice structure, blah blah blah. But that's marathon. A bit of this, a bit of that. What we're looking for is confirmation either direction, right? So closing back below 1750, 1740. Closing below 1740 would convince me that we probably do interact with this line, or potentially even go a little bit below it, which is fine. Closing above 2440 would convince me that that is the low. That doesn't absolve you from coming lower, you know, finding support down there, even off the 0.5, or even, you know, going lower, whatever. But if we can close above this, I'd be pretty damn convinced that that's the low. So I hope that makes sense. Clean spark. Same kind of idea of what I'm going to need to be invalidated by is probably that 618 level, but it looks like we've had an interaction with it already. Closing below the 382 is not a good look. Rejecting it too is not a good look. So I would just say getting above $19.75 will technically 1973, but 1975 just to round it, you know, on a daily basis for multiple days would be nice to see. That would be encouraging. Okay. Especially like right now, like keep going up, don't stop. If you go below the 236 again, that would encourage me to believe that the price targets that I've had all along this whole time are still very much on the table, and I do believe for Clean Spark that they are on the table. Why can Marathon go up but Clean Spark goes down? Clean Spark's been doing the best out of all of them, I know, but that's the thing. It went up the most. It's done like the best. It might need a little bit of a reprieve, which is fine. Whatever, man. But my targets are still valid, in my opinion, for this one. 1190. And this Clean Spark going down, being that it is kind of like the leader of the pack right now, to me, it being bearish is like the equivalent of Bitcoin being bearish for most cryptos, right? If it goes down, why would other miner stocks go up? But you know, I don't know. Marathon has a much bigger market cap, so that one can be absolved. And not all of them are going to move down just because Clean Spark moves down, but I would assume most of these miners do have lower to go still. But Marathon has me kind of convinced otherwise right now. We might be near a turning phase for a lot of them, but Clean Spark, same kind of idea. You know, maybe it's got this kind of like channel, whatever. We're still near the top, so we're probably going to come back down, even if we don't interact with that horribly drawn line. You know, I would very much expect that we interact with this level here, the weekly high close of our last peak. Yes, that's the high close. It's not the high. The high itself is up here. Yes, you can see it, but the high close of a week would be the highest point on the body of the candle, the bar, on a green day, or the lowest point on a red candle, right? And I mean, this one here, this was the second highest high, and it was a red candle, but the low is where it closed, where on the green candle it's the high. So right there, that's the high close. The reason why I'm focusing on the high close is because the last time we had the high close, we bottomed right near there. The time before that, where we had our high close, which is right here, we bottomed on it several times. So I'm anticipating that we will move to 1190 for Clean Spark. A lot has not changed with that. To invalidate my idea, my theory, it's steps. We have steps, right? I suppose the last step would be getting above this high. If we can start higher lows, higher highs, potentially invalidated. It is still possible, you know, we could be in this kind of whole phase of consolidation. We come up here, reject, and then move down. I suppose it's still possible, but it wouldn't be that likely. First step would be getting and maintaining readings above the 618, so very near that high. I suppose the first step would be getting and maintaining above the 382, which you attempted but failed. Maybe you can try again tomorrow and for the rest of the week. But closing above 1975 on a daily basis would be nice to see, and really final boss would be getting above here. Why not just say the 786? If you can close above $23.11, I would be convinced that the lows I'm calling for are no longer valid. But I'd be pretty convinced if you close above 1975. We're at 1654 now. Those are higher levels up, so they're you know, a lot would happen as far as gains go before we would realize that potential. But hey, man, even if it took you all the way until up here to be like, okay, that's the low, we're not going lower. Well, even if you bought right here, the minimum extended target would still be a 17% move to potentially a 43% move or higher. And I'd anticipate this 43% move. You'd probably catch that in a very short amount of time. So it's not the world, it's not life-changing gains, but I mean that's nobody would be upset about 45% gains in likely what would be like a month to 2 months time, if not less time, from buying at this area if we were to move up. But talking a lot of hypotheticals there. Personally, again, I still believe CleanSpark is moving down below $11.90, but prove me wrong, close above $19.75. Really close above, what was it, $23.11. Anyways, that's all I got for CleanSpark. I hope that makes sense. IREN, Iris Energy. Hold up, y'all. I like the daily RSI on Iris. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. It has hope. I suppose it's a little more bearish than I don't know. I think it is more bullish than bearish. I like the price action too. You're in a bit of a symmetrical triangle right here, right? You could be in some like odd diamond. It's odd. I don't know if I would call it. I mean, what if it's bigger than that? What if it's like this whole thing is a diamond? That's not drawn properly at all, man. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird look. I'm going to stick with the more relative symmetrical triangle look here. So when you break this to the upside or the downside, you'll have your heading. Looking at it now, I would kind of anticipate you do break it to the upside. I know I've been bearish on it, but just looking at this tweezer bottom you have here, I like it. Let's look at the daily RSI again. I mean, the daily doesn't look too bad. You have a problem being overbought, which is not nice because you do have no problem being oversold, it looks like, so that is bearish. Lower highs, flat bottom, yeah. Oh, that's on the 4 hour though, not the daily, my bad. Still though. Yeah, okay, you probably move lower from here. You're at 507. You probably do. Perhaps you even move lower than that low. Let's see, what would that do to you? I think you're fine if you did that. You know, symmetrical triangles and wedges are known for like initial breakouts and then reverses. It's not like super common, but it's not uncommon either. Like it definitely happens. Yeah, you could see something like that. I think so. IREN. I don't know if you go below this low. It's barely. I doubt you go below this low, but you might be making a move down to about $3.60, if not $3.20, somewhere in that range. What is that? Is it 365? Let's call it 365 to $3.20. You'll probably make a move down there and then get a nice little bounce all the way back up to this area and then probably start working your way up. That's my thoughts. If I'm wrong, to invalidate that, get overbought on your RSI. Get above $5.50 and then get above $7 and then we can talk. Get above $5.50, get your daily RSI overbought, and maintain prices above $7, and then we can talk. Then I'll start to admit that I'm wrong. But until then, down we go. That's my thoughts. I don't like, and you guys know I don't like, flat bottoms with descending highs. I don't like that. I don't like that structure at all. It's very rarely promotes good things. But it can. But I shouldn't say very rarely. It's just less common to do so. It's not super rare. There's plenty of times descending triangles have merited growth. It does happen. My bias would just be that it's not a good thing, just looking at it. But that's that. IREN. Let's talk about WULF. Then we'll finish this bad boy up with that HODL ETF. WULF. In a bit of a symmetrical triangle itself, isn't it? Look at that. Like a drill. Bam. You're getting near your point of break, man. Up or down? Where are you going to go, Wolf? You're getting there, man. Bullish weekly looking RSI might be an indication to going up. Yeah, the daily looks good too. I like the price action, Wolf. And I think I have been calling for you to go lower. I'm taking that off the table, man. I think you're holding this. I think you'll break to the upside. It still remains to be seen, right? These are your lines right now. You can see them with the naked eye. You don't need me to draw them, but they're there if you want to draw them yourself. If we have a day that closes above or below, that will likely pick our directional heading, right? So kind of looks like I don't know if you guys watch Sesame Street. I watch Sesame Street because I got a 2-year-old. But like, kind of looks like a Martian. Like, maybe not with the eyebrows, but like just their eyes, the mouth, like, oh, I don't know, man. If that makes sense to anybody. Look up Sesame Street Martians if you're confused. Maybe that'll help. I don't know. Whoa. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm drawing, man. Okay, all right, okay, so up, down, I don't know, probably up. And if it does go up, what would I expect? I would expect probably $6.10 to $10.20. Invalidate me and just break below this trend line here. Really get below like $2. You're at $2.33 now. That's Wolf. Let's finish this bad boy up with HODL. Wolf looking good out of all of them, in my opinion. Looks pretty damn good. That was at the request of Unlawful Law, by the way. And then HODL's at the request of J Bear into his house. Yeah, looking like BTC. Makes sense if it's an ETF looking like it wants to go down. So it probably does. You'll probably see this thing go down to about 62 to 60, or yeah, 62. Let's call it 61.80 because it's probably going to be more specific. 61.80 to $59, somewhere in that area. With the coming Bitcoin drop, and that probably will be your low, will be in this area. That's my thoughts. If not, we might see an extreme drop in BTC. You could hit this area as well, but I doubt you break $50. I even doubt that you'd break $52. I would be surprised if you got below 57, but I'd be very surprised if you got below 52. And I don't even give prices below 50 genuine consideration. Though it could happen and things would be fine, it could happen. I just don't genuinely consider it. My main consideration is 59.12 to 61.80, somewhere in that range. Okay, and that's that. Invalidate me. To invalidate me, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep moving up, man. Get above this 886, get above $74.50, close above there for multiple days. Invalidate me. If not, hold on. Why can't I whistle? And it's really not that big of a deal. You just drop a little bit and probably recover over. I mean, not probably, very likely. I suppose that is probably you will recover over time. So, and not even that much time. But that's all I got for you. If you like the video, hit that like button, you guys. I very much appreciate all of you for coming. Thank you for coming. Bit of a more in-depth video today with the ideas of being invalidated at play there. But I should probably include that in most of my videos, if not all of them anyways. So. At this point, we're just here for the music. So take care. Hit that like button on the way out, and try not to stutter. All right, bye-bye.